with me now.
Oh, darn.
Oh, darn. So all week long I've been planning on doing a talk on intuition. I love talking about intuition because it's one of those God-given faculties that helps guide us through life. And guys, don't you guys be fooled by thinking that it's just something that women have, like women's intuition. You guys have it too. You just call it something different. You call it a hunch or a gut feeling. But whatever you call it, it's the same thing. It's a knowing. It's an internal guidance system. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, actually, I love this phrase. He says, intuition is God in man. Intuition is God in man, revealing to him the realities of being. And just as instinct guides the animal, so would intuition guide man if he would allow it to do so. Yeah? Yeah. In other words, when we learn how to tap in to that guidance, it helps us along our path. When we learn to listen, we find that that inner wisdom is always there for us, always there for us. But the thing is, we have to listen, because intuition is not going to shout at us. It's not going to hit us with the 2x4 across the head. Intuition is that still, small voice that doesn't overpower and it doesn't force anything, because that would interfere with our free will. That would interfere with our right to choose our lives. So like I said, all week long I'm humming along on this idea about speaking on intuition. I got all these cool quotes and I've got these stories and examples. And then all hell broke loose in the world of current events. In the United States, 2 separate occasions of black men, Alton Sterling and Philando Castile, were killed by white police officers, with heartbreaking videos being spread all over the news and social media. And then in retaliation to those heinous events, 5 white police officers, and I'm going to read their names as well: Brent Thompson, Patrick Zama-Aripa, Michael Kroll, Lauren Aarons, and Michael Smith. And they were gunned down by a sniper during a peaceful demonstration in Dallas. And just a few short weeks ago, 49 people were killed in cold blood while they were partying at a club in Orlando. Not to mention all the other senseless bombings and murders and atrocities that's going on around the world. And if I wasn't a spiritual person, if I wasn't deeply steeped in the strong belief in the ultimate good of life, I would be pretty freaked out about now. In fact, I am a little bit freaked out right now. Maybe not freaked out, but certainly confused and sad and wondering. And so are all my colleagues. You know, we've never been through anything like this before. And so our ministers' listserv and our Facebook have been filled with questions. How do I serve my community in times like these? How do I help make sense of something that doesn't make sense? And of course, no one has the answer. We haven't done this before. We're just as flabbergasted as everybody else. But as I said, hopefully, as your spiritual leader, is that we, your ministers, your practitioners, we're steeped in our belief that ultimately goodness and love and light and wisdom will prevail. Because we know in the world of appearances, in the world of effect, it's showing up in a pretty scary way right now. The world is seeming to be pretty scary. But because I believe that life is an upward spiral, then what we are seeing and experiencing in spite of appearances is also part of that upward spiral. Is this making sense? That even this is part of this upward evolutionary spiral to enlightenment. One of Ernest Holmes' most famous quotes was circling around for ministers this week, and I think it really puts it so beautifully. He says, "Stay with the one and never deviate from it. Never leave it for a moment. Nothing else can equal this attitude. To desert the truth in the hour of need is to prove that we do not know the truth. When things look the worst, that is the supreme moment to demonstrate to ourselves that there are no obstructions to the operation of truth." And one of our elders of our teaching, Dr. Robert Bitzer, put it this way: "Never sacrifice principle, not even for a special occasion." So the question is, what is this truth that I'm talking about? Truth with a capital T. What is principle with a capital P? Well, a principle is defined as an undeniable truth, an absolute. So that undeniable truth, that absolute principle that I'm talking about, is the same thing that I talk about every single week here. Is that everything there is comes from the one God, the one presence, the one power, the one life. Everything comes from the one. And how this mind, how this principle works in our lives is through our thoughts and through our beliefs. It responds by corresponding. We have a thought or belief, and then it shows up for us. But this thing, this principle, it doesn't choose. You know how sometimes you look at your life condition and you think to yourself, well, that's not what I wanted. Anybody? Yeah. That's what I'm talking about here. It doesn't try to change what we're thinking. The law, this mind, this principle simply demonstrates it exactly according to our thought. So that can sometimes feel like not such great news, because our thoughts are not often reflect who we really are. We have these really random thoughts. Would you agree? Really random thoughts. But there is good news in this. That when things appear to be so obviously out of alignment, it shows us where the healing needs to take place. So let's take our physical bodies, for instance, or our personal lives, or our finances. I know finances and that type of thing, that's a big thing these days. If something isn't working in our lives, what we do is we experience symptoms, right? If our physical body has a symptom, okay. If something's not showing up quite right in our lives, okay. If our finances aren't quite right, those are symptoms. Those are symptoms. And the thing that symptoms are is that they show us what needs to be healed. Yes? Are you with me on this? So the symptom isn't the actual problem. It is there to assist us in finding out what needs to be taken care of, what needs to be prayed about, what needs to be healed. So what does this have to do with the horrific events that are going on in the States? It shows us where our work is needed. It shows us where we, as a human race, are out of alignment. It shows us the opportunities for healing. Now you may be thinking to yourself, I know there are some of you who are thinking to yourself, well, wait a minute, I'm not responsible for what happens in the States. Those people down there are crazy. It would never happen here in Canada. Come on, raise your hand if you were thinking that right now. Okay, yeah, and you would be right on a human level. No one here actively caused what is happening down there or in the other parts of the world. But one of the other aspects of this immutable truth, or this principle, is that we are all connected. We are all part of the one. So what happens in one part of life happens in all parts of life at a spiritual level. And that means that each one of us is affected by what is going on in the world simply because we are part of the world. And it also means that we affect what's going on in the world with our thoughts. We are not isolated beings. We're individuals, we talked about that last week, but we are not isolated beings. So it means that every one of us is contributing to the collective consciousness of the world. So even though we may not be directly contributing to the violence, if we have unhealed feelings or thoughts of anger, resentment, prejudice, us against them, or any other thoughts or feelings of separation, that we are not one, if we have those things, those feelings, those emotions, those thoughts, we are part of the problem. So it is incumbent upon us to do everything we can to heal our inner thoughts of separation, to heal and forgive those resentments, to let go of that anger, to release that victimhood, to see another way through the prejudice, so that we are no longer contributing to the situation, to the problem. The daughter of Charles and Myrtle Fillmore of the Unity teaching is Rosemary Fillmore Rea, and she wrote this: "The world we are experiencing today is the result of our collective consciousness. And if we want a new world, each of us must start taking responsibility for helping create it." And the truth is, folks, there are many, many, many people, including all of you, all of us, there are many people who are waking up. Yes? Would you agree with that? There are more conscious people now than ever before. More and more people are becoming aware that their thoughts are creative, that we are all connected, and that they have a responsibility for being mindful of their thoughts. So the other question that comes up, it certainly came up for me this week, kind of is, what the hell? If there's that many conscious people, if people are waking up, then how come things appear to be getting worse? Well, I don't actually think they are getting worse. I think that we're just becoming aware of them because of technology. Think about this. Never before in the history of mankind has a video of a man being shot and bleeding to death in front of his girlfriend has been live streamed across the world instantaneously at the moment it's happening. Things like that can't happen anymore, shouldn't happen anymore, because we can see them right away, instantaneously. We cannot stand for that any longer. And technology is part of the waking up. Yes? Technology is part of it. We can now see what's going on around us. We are connected. Technology has made the reality of our connection more visible than ever before. So we can actually see when and where those things are out of alignment. So we can see where the healing needs to happen. So I'd like to share with you something that was written by one of my colleagues, Dr. Edward Vrillon. I actually wrote to him this week and said, Edward, you're kind of the Yoda of our teaching. Can you give me some insight here? And this is what he wrote. I just really loved it. It has nothing to do with what happened this week, but I think you'll understand it. Did I do that? Right?
I don't know.
I don't know. There we go. Oh, that's way far away than where I want to be. Okay, anyway, don't look at the screen. Don't think about pink elephants. Don't. Okay, well, this will be interesting. So let me share with you, and it has nothing to do with the screen, so don't even look at it. Block it out of your mind. Here's what Edward said. I'm reminded of a time when I was a practitioner intern at a center, and the minister asked us to pray for the center's prosperity. Shortly after we began our prayers, it was discovered that someone in the organization was stealing money from the center. We, the interns, were shocked and questioned whether or not our treatments were effective or accurate. The minister called us together and explained that from her point of view, our treatments were responsible for clearing out everything that was standing in the way of our demonstration. Got it? Since then, he wrote, I've seen it unfold many times since, that things sometimes appear to get worse before they get better, precisely because the treatment or the work that we are doing is clearing the way for the demonstration. As a new practitioner, I wanted demonstrations to always be instantaneous, and sometimes they were, and in just as many cases, there was the part between the announcing of the word and the demonstration, the part in which everything, unlike the truth, devolved into sludge and looked nothing like the desired outcome. He said, the courage to stay the course through the turbulent times is what I am focusing on personally. The courage to stay the course during the turbulent times. Again, to desert the truth in the hour of need is to prove that we do not know the truth. And the truth is that we are all one. Everyone, everywhere, is part of that one. The shooters, the victims, the families. Those of us who are here looking at it through our screens. We are all part of the one. And the answers, as always, lie within. We do our work. And then, if as the result of that inner work, we're guided to take action in the world of effect, that's wonderful. But then we are doing it not from a place of victimhood or anger or even sadness when we've done our work and then we are giving of ourselves physically. We are doing it from a place of wholeness, a place of compassion and of peace. And it's from that place that we will truly make a difference. So what I'd like to do, Steve, if you could come up here and do a little noodling in the background. I'm going to take us through a brief meditation. This is actually a Buddhist meditation called the Metta Sutta, which is known as the loving kindness meditation. And if you want to look that up, Metta Sutta, or just look up loving kindness, and you will find it if you would like to work with a meditation like this. Again, so I invite you to close your eyes. And go into that place of comfort, that place of relaxation. And set aside everything that we've just talked about. Focus on your breathing. And now put your hand on your heart. And say to yourself, may I be free from inner and outer harm and danger. Say this just in your mind. May I be safe and protected. May I be happy. May I live in this world happily, peacefully, joyfully, with ease. And now bring to mind one of your beloveds, your children, your spouse, a pet, a beloved teacher, and say to them, may you be free from inner and outer harm and danger. May you be safe and protected. May you be happy. May you be able to live in this world happily, peacefully, joyfully, with ease. And now bring to mind someone that you have neutral feelings for. A clerk at a grocery store. Someone walking down the street. And say to them, may you be free from inner and outer harm and danger. May you be safe and protected. May you be happy. May you be able to live in this world happily, peacefully, joyfully, with ease. And now bring to your mind a difficult person in your life. A former spouse, a boss, a co-worker, a public figure, a society, an organization, a political party. And say, may you be free from inner and outer harm and danger. May you be safe and protected. May you be happy. May you be able to live in this world happily, peacefully, joyfully, with ease. And now repeat after me. May all beings everywhere be safe, happy, healthy, live joyously, with ease. Let's say it again. May all beings everywhere be safe, happy, healthfully, live joyously, with ease. And one more time. May all beings everywhere be safe, happy, healthy. Live joyously, with ease. And so it is.